before we wrap the whole thing up, any questions?
There's a quick question from cyberspace out there.
What is it?
One is that Panasonic on the VT50 Model B for Britain, I guess, that they've limited the peak luminance level.
Right.
And the question is, but I don't think
The answer is no.
Oh, you know the answer. Did they do that? Did they do that in the U.S. version?
No.
That's great.
I'll show you. They did it last year.
I know they did. I know. So they stopped doing that as well.
Where's the Panasonic remote? Just to make Europe annoyed, I'll show you here.
All right.
Where's panel brightness?
Hey Ed, you want to throw back some movie material or something just for fun?
Yeah, just.
Well, that was a big, nice upgrade for this year. Not to.
Oh, we needed it.
Not
the
to
light output was so limited.
Not constrain the.
The light output
here
was
we
so
go.
limited on the 30 series.
So on the US models, you have different panel brightness settings. There's, if we can get some like middle content, we can actually show off better. So we can wait till this actual film.
So David, why did they do that in the UK models?
I asked them and they didn't reply yet. No, Panasonic, they're very open. They're usually very good with.
Is it a power supply limitation?
Well, we think in Europe the ST50 has what's called True Cinema mode, and that's Panasonic Europe's. I think actually worldwide, everywhere but America. That's their most accurate mode. The manual describes it very well for once. Actually, it says displays the original images without revision, which is exactly what it does, or what it intends to do.
But we had that issue with last year's VT30, but
right.
thankfully
Panasonic
has redesigned it this year.
I went on a tangent there. The ST50 in Europe doesn't. We managed to get out of the 42-inch model, which you mentioned, because you do make smaller sizes in Europe.
Yeah.
Smaller homes, I guess.
Yeah.
We managed to get 120, even 130 nits of brightness, which is 35-foot Lamberts in America.
I'm not a good conversion guy.
It's about 35-foot Lamberts.
Good.
We managed to get that at the ST50, whereas Kevin, do you know what 80 nits in metric measurements is in foot Lamberts?
Divide by 3.42. Anybody got a?
Does anyone have a calculator? Because I can't.
I'm going to say it's going to be roughly 5 point something.
Yeah. About right.
No.
Where do you ask?
It can't be that low.
What was the question? What was the original question? No, in Europe the ST50 can go brighter than the GT50 and VT50. They asked why. We don't know. We asked them. The best explanation I can come up for is that the European models have, instead of these two modes here, they have Professional 1 and Professional 2. Now, the European Broadcast Union, for Grade 1 studio monitors, I believe, they specify panel brightness of 80 nits. So I think Panasonic, I can only assume that their consumer division was trying to make, because we did in fairness, we asked them, can you give us a studio monitor-like mode?
They have to have 80.
Actually, in the U.S., that number is 29-foot Lamberts, and I think if you do the math, it's going to be very close.
Okay, so 29-foot Lamberts, the UK, the European DD50 is limited.
So brightness here.
Why is it dimmer? No, in America they don't limit the brightness. We can select it. They have 3 modes.
Great.
Some of them are.
So we can get a better ISFJ mode than the Brits can.
Right, but we should point out also that the UK, the European models have they have the THX Bright Room mode as well.
Right.
And some people have suggested that's a fine substitute for being able to control the panel light output. No,
that's a new spec this year.
it's THX.
No, it's not.
It's
not
not
for Panasonic.
Oh, I see.
What it does is it ramps up the panel light output, which we want control over, but it also selects a very low gamma, which means the shadow details are going to be more visible in a really bright room. We just want to be able to control the panel light output, like we can bizarrely in the European ST50. The GT50 is actually slightly brighter than the VT in Europe. VT50 is the dimmest of them all. And it's fine. It's enough light for
low ambient light viewing.
Right,
but
for daytime viewing,
Right.
it's it's a shame. Are we playing something?
Trying. Opal's not cooperating right now. But we should get something up in touch.
No, but the US model has 3 modes for panel light output. There's low, I don't know what they're called, low, medium, and high. The high one is quite useful. It clips color and stuff. Mid's good. It's good. Mid's what we used here. Mid's good for the way calibrators. So we can show you that now. And if anyone in Panasonic in Europe is watching, we would like this very much.
I'll bet they are.
Oh, okay. Where is it? See, the US menus are totally different. I'm not used to these at all. It's not aspect of it. Channel brightness. So we can see here low. Lowest. I think the European models are locked with low, medium, low.
You don't have this menu.
No, we don't. We don't. The menu's still there. You can even see high. Even in the menu here, it's clipping. This orange is turning into yellow. So high is, and it's barely any brighter. So high is basically useless. But the toggle between low and mid is pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we like the mid set.
Yeah. So do I.
It
I have
works.
to go home.
You don't have to.
So, that's that. Are there any other questions from the web that we're reading out?
Any other web questions? Let's see.
That we can read?
There's quite a few questions. We can be here a while. But one question is, somebody said, why do larger panels seem to have low MLL, minimum luminance level?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
Why do the larger panels?
You don't think they do?
That should be the reverse.
Well, they do with Samsung.
What's the minimal?
Black level.
The black
Lower
level.
black level with larger panel.
Right. The
Yeah,
larger
it doesn't
panel.
make any sense.
It doesn't.
It doesn't.
It should be the reverse.
But it seems to
Well,
in practice.
I
The only thing I can think of,
It's unrelated.
the only thing that I know of
Well,
would be,
inner pixel spacing wouldn't be a little
But it's
smaller.
actually, it's actually
No, it's
really
independent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no answer to
That's
that
what the
question.
physics
Well,
says.
Yeah.
well,
Okay.
the only thing that I know of is manufacturing. If X size panels made in one plant compared to
right.
Yeah.
X size made in another plant, that
So
can
it's a
cause
coincidental thing, you think?
Yeah.
Rather.
Yeah.
Very good. They want to keep the best
You know,
for the most expensive.
You know,
better.
Samsung and Panasonic, they're blacker for the larger panels. When it was Pioneer, it was the exact opposite. The 50 inches were
was better.
black. Yeah, they were blacker than the 60
But
inches.
with Panasonic, the difference is much less, isn't it?
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
The question I would ask is the difference, is it significant enough to mean anything? I doubt it is.
With the Samsung panels,
Well, some years it was.
Last
Yeah,
year.
last year. This year,
Some
no.
dark films where you get like Harry Potter and some of that, where they really get some
Exactly.
very dark films. You really want to get that low level shadow detail, and the blacks you want it to go.
Should we address
far
actually
down the
measuring
line to find
black
it not
level
black
different
panel.
meters? You guys would be the guys to answer that.
Well, you guys profiled them pretty nicely.
We did it with the right
but
meter.
You did the right meter.
Yeah,
The problem with
absolutely.
the meter
Yeah,
on
you
that
need
black
the-
level
yeah.
is the veiling glare problem. You know, you should next time you do that ANSI checkerboard or whatever you do, measure the black level, and then put a black paper mask around all the white parts, and measure the black level again. That will tell
We
you
use-
about the veiling glare in the measuring instrument. Okay, you'll be surprised. It'll be a big difference.
We use contact meters that are right.
Well, the contact meter will give you a whole different story.
That's a
But I mean, I
different
Oh, you
understand.
mean off
Yeah,
screen.
you want to measure it
Yeah, yeah.
the way the viewer sees it.
That's
There's
great.
good
Thank you.
reason to
Thank
do
you.
that.
Right.
But
That's what
remember,
he's
your
supposed to do.
meter can
I
have
hear this.
veiling glare.
Yes.
And that will throw you off, like factor 5 or something
Yeah,
like that.
yeah.
So when you say, this one was 500 to 1 and this one was 300 to 1, tell me what that meter was doing. Okay?
Right.
Because you may be at the limit of the meter.
Yeah.
Look
Right.
up Ed Kelly. Do you know Ed Kelly?
No, I
don't
don't.
know. He was a NIST scientist in Boulder. He used to give great classes on metrology on displays, and he goes all through that. There's a new SID document that's going to come out any day now. It's called, what is it called? The Flat Panel Display Metrology Standard or something like that. And it will talk about it. He's the editor of that thing.
Can we go to, is it SID.com? It'll have,
They may talk about it. It's just about ready to be released.
it'll be published on their.
It'll be free. You can get it on the web, free. You'll be able to buy a bound copy of it. This is a very significant measurement standard document.
I need to get
And
that.
yeah, absolutely, you want to get this. And it'll be out, any month or something like that.
Great, thank you,
Yeah,
thank you.
okay.
That's awesome, thank you very much. I will definitely be looking for that.
But
Got all the votes done, or?
I will say that our Klein meters are extremely reliable with measuring black levels.
If you do it properly.
If you do it properly,
That's it.
you should get down to 0.0003 foot Lamberts.
And if we had a display that could go that low,
Right.
we'd be
Well,
very
what I'm
happy
saying is
people.
that
I know, yeah, right.
This is something the
Oh, I know.
meter makers don't characterize, and it depends how you do the measurement.
Right, exactly,
It's not-
yes.
It's measuring this. It's things like scattering off of the lens. They put a anti-reflection coating.
Right.
They aren't perfect. You get a scattering off of that. That when you're down to
For
400 to 1 or
general-
500 to 1, that can make a big difference. And or it bounces off a certain aperture and
Yeah.
reflects purely and
And you add everything
all
up.
that.
Yes.
Can everybody pass the filters back this way as well? I need to get those back, even though they're useless.
Hey, 1 second on the ballots. Can everybody please put their initials on them? We're doing an audited verification here that has to foot and match to the attendance. So,
Need blood samples.
yeah, little DNA sample would be nice. That's right. Thank you. So please put, we're tabulating the results now from last night and tonight. We're mixing them all together, and we're actually tabulating the. Nobody from my company is permitted to vote. Manufacturers are not permitted to vote. But we are tabulating also separately the votes of the professional experts here, the 4 experts. So we'll publish that. Be safe. Thank you.
Good to meet you. My pleasure as well.
I have a brief presentation here as well. Getting my